Hello students, Wendy Ansley here, kinesiology professor at College of the Desert. I look forward to sharing with you a well-rounded and fun and unique sequence today. So we're going to get started towards the edges of our mat here. As always, I have two blocks, a strap, and a wall that we're going to go to during our practice today. But let's start off with a positive mindset, showing self-compassion towards one another, towards each other, I should say, and one another after we leave our mat. And let's begin in Tadasana. We awaken the arches in our feet. We spread those toes. We inhale. We draw those arms up, energy out the fingertips. Exhale, we're going to come into a little dynamic forward fold, awakening today. Heel and toe, heel and toe. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins or the thighs, gaze forward and down. Framing the feet, we're going to step back into Phalakasana here. Dome the upper back. Press through those palms evenly, belly button to the spine, coming onto the balls of the feet, but yet pressing those heels back, almost rotating the biceps forward a little bit. Active leg, active shoulder, active core strength. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Gently, we're lowering to the ground here. Our arms are coming by the sides here, and we're going to lower the right knee to the ground, and we're going to draw that left foot up and over towards the ground. So we're preparing the lower back for our practice here. Stay here several breaths. It's a form of scorpion. Gently face forward, rest the forehead onto the ground. This time, lower the left ear towards the ground and draw that right foot over to the side. Stay here several breaths. Gently come back. Rest the forehead onto the ground. Lead with those hips to tabletop. Lead with those hips to Adho Mukha, down dog. Hands are shoulder width apart. Feet are hip width or possibly a little bit wider. Maybe we do a few dynamics as we prepare for our practice here. Press through those palms, draw length in the spine, and try to straighten the legs. Think about drawing the heels close to the ground. Tailbone back and down. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Transition, we're going to walk it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come into forward fold. Come more to the midfoot. Breathe into those hamstrings. So some of you think about drawing the sternum and chest closer to the shins. Gently, lightly bend the knees. Inhale, swan dive up. Open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, heart centered. Again, root to the ground. Inhale, draw those arms up. Energy out the fingertips. Exhale, come into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, either hands to the shins, the thighs, to the ground. Tailbone out and back, gaze forward and down. Framing the feet, we're going to step back into Phalakasana here. Core awakening, not just the core. Active legs, active shoulders. Integrate the legs. Draw, root, kind of press through the palms and almost draw the biceps forward and round the upper back. Beautiful connection to the core. Body intelligence. Gently lower to the ground. Our hands are by the side here. We're going to rest the forehead to the ground just for a brief moment. Hands by the chest. And we're going to start with, let's take the left ear to the ground and draw the right foot up and over. Can we touch the ground here? Awakening the lower back, a little dynamic expression. Gently face the forehead to the ground. Now draw that left foot up and over. Can we take, and with the right ear on the ground, can we awaken the lower back? This is all preparation for our practice. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Gently release. Transition to tabletop. Lead with those hips. Exhale, lead with those hips. Come into Adho Mukha. On the inhale, we create length in the spine. Exhale, lower the heels close to the ground. Let's stay here 2 more breath cycles. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Transition, we're going to walk it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Come more to that midfoot. Sitting bones towards the ceiling. Feel those inner thighs almost spiral back, even in just a little forward fold, and continue to draw the hips over the ankles. Come more to the midfoot. Gently bend the knees. Inhale, swan dive up. Open the chest. Open the heart. Loving yourself unconditionally. Exhale, heart centered. Starting with a strap, I like to connect sometimes with the shoulders, just connect to the entire body, and sometimes I like to release the shoulders a little bit. So I take the strap, it's a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. I'm going to inhale, draw the strap up and bring it back. Beautiful. Inhale, come up. It's a little connection, that beautiful ball and socket joint of the shoulders. Beautiful. And we're connecting to all levels of the shoulders area here. So now I bring the strap back, and this is where I kind of take care of the shoulders again. I come into a healthy scapula area. And so I'm going to draw the strap away, the shoulders move away. Shoulder blades move away. Now I straighten it out, and the shoulders move towards each other. Good. They move away, and now they move towards each other. We call that retraction and protraction. They move away, protraction, good. And now they move towards one another. So it's very healthy there for the shoulders. Let's do a little figure eights here where we're doing a little dynamic movement. We come into a little expression. So I'm doing a little diagonal. Again, I'm just kind of flossing that beautiful shoulder girdle, moving my body in a way that it should be moved, which is one way that I love yoga, taking care of myself. And just simply, we're going to keep the strap forward and back a couple more times. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, gently lower the strap. Now we're aware of our practice. We're going to do some kind of different little moon salutations as the class continues today. And I thought of a little message my son made me years ago, and he said, "Mom, I love you to the moon and back," and had the moon and a darling picture of him. And I thought that is unconditional love. It's loving without conditions, and I know that's a challenge for us. But in life, we need to love ourselves unconditionally. We need to show love. It's a message that we need to work on day in and day out on our yoga mat. We are all imperfectly perfect, right? And or excuse me, we're all perfectly imperfect. That's what I was going with here. And someone who exhibits altruistic types of qualities is someone that does selfless and kindless acts for others. That's another example of unconditional love. It's also loving without expecting anything in return. So because we have a little unique practice where we're going to kind of go around the moon, I just wanted to touch in unconditional love with ourselves, spreading kindness, and unconditional love with our family, and love with someone sometimes where it's not easy to love. We have to love from afar. Folding your hands, lowering your head to your fingertips. I just want you to set your own personal and meaningful intention of your practice today. Honor this intention with the breath, the efforts, and gently look up. Beautiful. We're going to start coming to the wall, and we're going to get our hips ready for our practice today. We've got our blocks nearby, okay? And we're going to start with figure fours, or a modified pigeon on the wall. So I'm drawing my left foot up to the wall. My foot is in line with the knee, and I'm drawing my ankle on top of the knee, and I'm drawing my right knee towards the wall as I'm releasing these external rotators. And we're going to stay here several breaths. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Beautiful. Gently pressing the right foot into the wall, drawing the left ankle on top of the knee, and drawing the left knee now towards the wall. Inhaling, exhaling through the nose. Continue to draw left knee towards the wall. Breathe into that release of the left hip. Coming into another hip stretch, we've got frog on the wall here. So now our ankles are in line with the knees. We're pressing the feet into the wall here, and we're actually rotating. We don't realize it, but we're actually rotating these hips inward. It's a beautiful pose here. And we're also breathing evenly into the lower back. I like to kind of take my hands, rest them inside the knee, draw length in my lower spine, and breathe into this release of the hips. The hips are actually, you don't even realize this, but the femur actually rotates inward. We're just in a supine position. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to stay here several breaths. Inhale, create length. On the exhale, almost like to press my feet into the wall. This posture almost represents unconditional love. There's no limits to this posture. No limits to the benefits. Great for the pelvic hip girdle, beautiful for the spine. Beautiful for the posture, beautiful for our practice. Gently release. Might feel a little bit stiff sometimes coming out of those deep, deep postures. We're going to take the blocks. I like to use the blocks a little bit of a prop sometimes. It gives me another little 4 inches as I explore Adho Mukha, down dog. My heel of my hand is on the blocks, the edges of the blocks, and I'm going to lift up as I dynamically explore Adho Mukha. And now a static hold here. I press through the blocks, belly button to the spine. I'm drawing the shoulders down the back. My feet are hip width apart or a little bit wider. And I'm taking those inner thighs, I'm spiraling them back. Tailbone back and down. Pubis bone back and up. Heels close to the ground. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently release, lowering to the knees. I like to explore simple, profound, beautiful, upward facing dog. And now I take the blocks and I have them a few inches kind of below my chest. And my hand is really kind of under the elbows here. My feet are hip width apart. And I'm going to use the blocks to give myself a little bit of a lift in this beautiful upward facing dog. So I press to the tops of the feet. I press my palms into the blocks and I'm lifting up. And I want you to draw your pelvis forward, broaden the collarbones, look up, press into the blocks, gaze up, pelvis forward, shoulder blades down the back, look up. Take those inner thighs, spiral them back, press through the tops of the feet. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently release. We'll come into a wide-legged child's pose as a way to kind of almost counter the pose. Big toes touching, widen the knees, press the hands onto the blocks, send those hips back, rest the forehead onto the ground. Love yourself unconditionally in the pose. We'll stay here several breaths. Inhale, create length. Exhale, melt into the ground. Gently transition, come back to all fours. Lead with those hips, Adho Mukha. Down dog, stay here several breaths. Walk the feet forward, beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Gently bend the knees. Inhale, swan dive up. Open the chest. Open the heart. Exhale, heart centered. Beautiful. I'm going to move the blocks here. Unless you kind of want to use one a little bit throughout the practice to help you as a prop, that is definitely recommended. Do a little circles, little wrist relief here. Beautiful. Sometimes I like to take my palms, place them together, and just press into this little wrist relief here, working on wrist flexibility, wrist mobility. Shake it out. Beautiful. coming into our moon salutations. I'm going to mirror you, so we are going to be doing it the same direction because I'm looking at you head on. I'll call out the side that you're going to be doing. Inhale, we're going to draw those arms up. You either can keep your arms like this, draw the shoulders down the back, or we can bring the thumb and index finger together. Shift now over to the left, and I want you to draw your right top ribs back. Tuck the chin in just slightly. It's a little bit of a lateral flexion. Inhale, rise. Taking the feet, widening them just a bit, we are in goddess pose. Good. I have my thumb and index finger together. My heels are pointed in. My toes pointed out. Length in the spine, activating every single muscle in my legs. Inhale, rise. Adjusting that back foot, turning that left foot 90 degrees, preparing for extended triangle. Inhale, create length. Exhale, reach towards the wall, hand to the shin, or right, possibly a little bit lower. Keep the body in one plane, shoulder over one another. If we can, we may come a little bit lower. Breathe into the back hip. Fingertips towards the ceiling. If the neck bothers you, you can gaze down. If not, gaze straight ahead or gaze up. Beautiful triangle. Adjusting, lowering that top hand, preparing for Parvottanasana. Heel to heel are in line here. And now we're adjusting, stable back foot. Some of you may come a little bit lower. Come more to that midfoot of the front left foot. Sternum and chest close to the shin. Adjusting, extend that leg back. Lower the knee towards the ground. Low lunge. Inhale, draw those arms up. If you can, thumb and index finger again. Look up, open the chest, open the heart. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Gently release. Quarter turn this left foot. Prepare for Skandasana here. In Skandasana, we draw that extended leg, heel into the ground, toes up. And I take my elbow into this left knee, draw length in my spine. Adjust, maybe hands to the ground as we are adjusting. Heel toe it in a little bit for Malasana. Prayer, squat. Now my elbows come inside the knee. My palms together. I create length in the spine. Elbows inside the knee. Legs into the elbows, both effect there. Create length in the spine, gaze forward. Inhale, draw length, draw air, pranayama, up the spine. Exhale, root into the ground. Adjusting this right foot, extending that left leg, preparing for Skandasana. So now my heel of that extended leg, my toes come up, elbows on the inside of that right knee, drawing length, beautiful Skandasana. Unconditional love, being kind to yourself, being kind to others. Framing the foot, come into low lunge. Lower the knee towards the ground. Thumb and index come together. Beautiful low lunge. Press to the top of the back foot, create length in the spine. Breathe into that back hip. Frame the foot. Draw that back foot up a few inches, then a full leg length. Come into beautiful pyramid pose. Inner thigh is touching. We almost squeeze the outer hips towards one another. Stable back foot. Stable hips. Sternum and chest possibly closer to the shin. We'll stay here several breaths. Adjusting the back foot back a little bit more. I start with my right hand on the shin as I prepare for a triangle, and then I come a little bit lower, breathing into the back hip. Fingertips towards the ceiling. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward. Inhale, rise. Adjusting, rotating the heels in. Goddess pose. Heel toe it in. Root into the ground. Inhale, draw those arms up. Energy over to the right here and draw the left top ribs back. Tuck the chin in just slightly. Lateral flexion. Inhale, rise. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful job. Doesn't that feel great, you guys? Adding a little flow here. Ankles, knees, and shins together. Hands are about shoulder width apart. We draw the shoulders away from those ears. We're going to lower, trying to keep the heels onto the ground as another form of malasana. When the heels, pick up, that's where you stop. But if you can, you're going to come a little bit lower, heels onto the ground, awaken the pelvic hip floor muscles. Gently lower, preparing for Navasana, strengthening those hip flexors. On the exhale, we're going to need to keep the legs parallel to the ground, hands by the side for beginners. More advanced, we might place the hands here. Eventually, we work on straightening the legs. Energy out the fingertips, out the toes. Core strength. Several more breaths. Trying to get up without the hands and the knees. If you need to use them, that's okay. Try to root and rise, and that just takes practice. Inhale, we draw those arms up. Maybe thumb and index come together. Add a little bit of a back bend. Open the chest. Open the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Framing the feet, stepping back into Phalakasana. And we're going to work on either partial chaturanga where you can lower to the knees. You're going to bend those elbows, and I want you to draw the sternum forward. Notice my shoulders in line with those elbows. Inhale, press through the tops of the feet, up dog. Pelvis forward, thighs off the ground, shoulders down the back. Exhale, down dog. Stay here several breaths. Let's widen the heels a little bit. Let's exaggerate it. Feel those inner thighs spiraling back. Press through those palms. Lengthen the spine. Stay here several breaths. Walk the hands and the feet towards each other at the same time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come into our forward fold. Gently bend the knees, inhale, swan dive up, open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, heart-centered. Coming to the center of the mat, cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Unconditional love continues. Inhale, we're going to draw those arms up. Maybe thumb and index finger come together. We're going to shift now over to the right, drawing the left shoulder blade back just a bit, tucking the chin in just slightly. Lateral flexion, inhale, rise. Taking it wide, goddess pose, rotate those heels and toes out. Thumb and index finger come together. Activate those lower leg muscles. Root into the ground. Length in the spine, gaze forward. Beautiful goddess, your inner goddess pose. Continue to inhale and exhale through the nose. Gently release. Adjusting that back foot and rotating it in just a bit. Preparing for triangle, so the right foot is pointed straight ahead. Inhale, create length. Exhale, hand to the shin. Keep the body in one plane, so I don't want you to slump forward. Shoulders stacked over one another, fingertips towards the ceiling. Eventually, we come a little bit lower. Lowering that top arm, adjusting that back foot in a bit so it's 45 to 60 degrees in. Heel to heel. We're in beautiful Parsvottanasana. Both hips facing forward. Come more to that right midfoot. Press outer edge of the back foot. Eventually working on the sternum and chest close to the shin. Adjusting that back leg, lowering the knee to the ground, preparing for low lunge. Fingertips towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Hands come on the inside. I'm quarter turning that right foot, adjusting this extended leg, heel towards the ground, Skandasana. Good. Continue to create length in the spine, elbow into the knee. Press through the heel of the extended leg. Adjusting hands to the ground, heel toe it in just a bit. Rotate those heels out, in, and the toes out, elbows inside the knees. Create length in the spine. We'll stay here a while. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, press into the ground. Again, connecting the entire body in Malasana. Awaken the pelvic hip floor muscles. Length in the spine, and breathe into that release, into the stiffness of those hips. Adjusting, lower the hands to the ground. We're going to keep that quarter turn, and we're going to extend that leg here, the right leg, and we're into Skandasana on the left side here. So elbow comes inside. Beautiful. Going around the moon here, unconditional love. Adjusting the hands, quarter turning this left foot. Face it forward, lowering the knee to the ground, low lunge. Frame the foot. You'll find yourself in Parsvottanasana, heel to heel towards the ground. Stable back foot, stable hips. Sternum and chest close to the shin. Adjusting that back foot, bringing it back just a little bit. It only kind of rotates in 15 degrees. Left hand to the shin, preparing for triangle. Eventually, we come a little bit lower. Beautiful triangle. Breathe into the back hip. Inhale, root and rise. Goddess pose, rotate those heels in, toes out. Activation of all the lower leg muscles. Create length in the spine. Heel toe it in. Root through the ground. Inhale, arms up, thumb and index together, shifting over to the left here. Right shoulder blade, kind of back, tuck the chin in, lateral flexion. Inhale, rise. Beautiful. Cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Coming to the edge of the mat. Ankles, knees and shins together. Hands about shoulder height here. On the exhale, trying to keep the heels close to the ground. We're awakening the muscles on the shins, tibialis anterior here, awakening the arches, the Achilles. Lowering to the ground, our form of Navasana, either partial, eventually. Energy out the toes, out the fingers, strengthening the core. Trying to root and rise without the hands and the knees. Inhale, rise. Inhale, arms up. Possibly thumb and index come together. Arch the back a little bit. Upper spine through the heart. Exhale, come into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Framing the feet, step back into Phalakasana here. Working on our chaturanga, bending the elbows and draw. See how I bring my sternum forward. Shoulders in line with the elbows. They do not dip. Transition up dog. Press to the tops of the feet. Pelvis forward. Active thighs. Broaden the collarbones. Look up. Exhale. Down dog. Taking the right hand down, I want you to draw that left arm up. Left hand to the right hip. Gaze over the left shoulder. Left hand down, adjust the right hand. Take the left hand under the face, draw that right arm up. So we're adding the little spinal twist in down dog. Right hand to the left hip, gaze over the right shoulder. Coming into down dog here, stay here several breaths. Walk the hands and the feet towards one another. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Gently bend the knees. Inhale, open the heart, open the chest. Exhale, heart centered. Beautiful. And as we face the center of the mat here, we'll touch in just to a little bit of balance here. So we're going to root through the four corners. I'm going to mirror you here. We're going to root through the four corners of the left leg, and we're going to straighten that left leg. Good. We're going to draw that right knee up. Once we can straighten that standing leg, do we think about clasping the thumb and index finger? Not slumping forward. We want to keep a nice length in our spine as we eventually extend that front leg in foot to hand pose. Utthita Hasta Padangustasana. Coming out of the tree the same way we got into the tree. Balance equals strength. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Rooting through the four corners of the right leg, draw that femur head in, engage the quadricep muscles here. Work on creating length into the standing leg. Drawing that left bent leg. Eventually, can we take the thumb and index finger around the big toe? Straighten that left leg. Draw length in the spine. Come out of the tree the same way we got into the tree. Cleansing breath, inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Working on a little hip flexibility here. We're going to sit down. You're going to take this right bent leg and you're going to draw the left ankle now on top of the knee, similar to that figure four that we kind of warmed up with. And still take the bent knee of the left leg and almost draw it forward. Light little awakening of the arches of this left foot. Some of you will stay here. Some of you will explore the double pigeon Agni Stambhasana, where we work on ankle over the knee, knee over the ankle. Sometimes I kind of add a little bit of a weight here with my hands. And we'll stay here a while, try to root through the sitting bones evenly, reap the benefits of our beautiful practice here. Inhale, rise. Adjusting now, take that left bent leg, draw the right ankle on top of the knee, a little awakening of the arch, and draw now that right knee forward just a bit. Ankle over the knee, knee over the ankle. Coming into Agni Stambhasana. Gently come out of the pose. Coming onto our stomachs in a prone position. Preparing for a little spinal extension. We're going to take the hands about 2 inches kind of below the chest here. And I want us to press through the tops of the feet, which are hip width apart, and the hands now off the mats, gazing forward. Now press the hand into the ground as we come into oscillating cobra. Press the hands and the feet. Inhale, rise. Inhale, rise. Inhale, rise. Inhale, rise. Coming into a little spinal extension. Playing around with movement, I'm going to have you draw your knee now, left knee, in line with the ankle. So we're in half frog. So we're in cobra and half frog at the same time. Left ankle's in line with the knee, rotating that left femur bone internally, coming into a spinal extension. Gently release. It's just a little exploring movement. We're all connected. Our body's almost like a symphony. And we're just, exploring hip movement, spinal extension. Let's rest the forehead onto the ground. Feet are hip width apart. We're just resting here several breaths. Same thing, hands about 2 inches below the chest here. Press to the tops of the feet. Hands off the ground now. Press into the ground. Inhale, lengthen. Inhale, lengthen. Inhale. Pubis bone onto the ground. Arms just slightly bent, spinal extension. Now we're going to draw that right knee in line with the hips. Knee in line with that ankle. Keep the elbows just slightly bent. Press to the top of the back foot. Root through frog, the other side here, half frog. Little spinal extension. Gently release. We're exploring movement patterns. Rest the forehead onto the ground. We're going to explore Bhujangasana Cobra one more time and just hold it longer. More of a symmetrical pose here. Press to the tops of the feet. Hands 2 inches below the chest. Inhale, rise. Press to the feet, press to the palms. Inhale, rise. Inhale. Spinal extension, pubis bone to the ground. Look up. Draw the elbows towards the side. Press through the tops of the feet, knees off the ground, pubis bone to the ground. Open the chest, open the heart, compress the spine. Several breaths. Gently release. Lower to the ground, rest the forehead onto the ground. Arms by the sides, relax. Coming to all fours. We're going to neutralize the spine just a bit. We'll start in Dandasana. This is where I want us to almost draw the sitting bones up and kind of draw them back a little bit to rotate the pelvis forward. So even in Dandasana here, sitting nice and tall and not slumping. This is a yoga posture in itself, Dandasana. Now we're going to extend those legs, breathe them out to the side here. And we'll come into a form of Upavista Konasana where we add a little lateral twist. I'm mirroring you, your left hand down, draw that right arm up, a little lateral rotation, and draw the heart towards the ceiling. Release. Draw that right hand down and that left arm up. Heart to the ceiling. Inhale, rise. Upavista, same thing. Rotate the pelvis forward. Many of us, we're going to just walk those hands down a few inches. Draw the knees, rotate them back. Eventually, some of you may be able to come A little bit farther in Upavista here. Rotate those knees back. I like to take my thumb and index around the big toes. I like to either rest the forehead. I like to bring my chin to the ground. I'm flexible enough, rotating those knees back. Inhale, create length. We're going to stay here quite a while. Exhale, melt into the ground. Release the hamstrings, release the adductors. Create length in the spine. Inhale and rise. Draw the soles of the feet together and almost draw the sitting bones towards them. It's like you're taking the feet like a book as we gently press those elbows inside the creases of the legs here. And we breathe into the release of the inner groin. So we take the feet, we open the book. We're opening the inner groin. We'll stay here a while. Inhale, rise. Preparing for our Shavasana. Letting everything go. Relaxing the hands, relaxing. I like to do one last, almost like spine lengthener, and then just really let everything go. Relax the palms, relax the feet, almost nestle the shoulders into the ground. Truly let it go. Preparing to come out of our Shavasana, little movements in your fingers and toes. Gently bend the knees. Right arm over the head. Use the left hand to press yourself up. Reflecting upon the message of unconditional love. Sometimes it's important to remind ourselves again what love is without conditions, and to be kind and considerate to others, and what that altruistic philosophy truly is. Reflecting, let's lower our head to our fingertips, reflecting back on your intention of your practice. Honor this intention as you live your day. Inhale, look up. And perhaps namaste is almost the true definition here of unconditional love. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Namaste. Have a great day.